Hi, this is Peter Hook from Joy Division and New Order, and you're listening to the Mixtape.
Hello and welcome to the Mixtape Podcast. I am your host, Mark, and every week we'll take a deep dive into my guests' inspirations and influences by asking them to make up an imaginary 6-track mixtape. There are over 120 archive episodes. The mixtapepodcast.com is your one-stop shop for all of those episodes, my YouTube channel, and it'd be great to catch up with you on social media as well. Don't forget, if you enjoy this episode, to give us a like, a share, or a follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this week's mixtape, and this week on the show, it is an absolute pleasure to welcome Peter Hook. How are you, mate?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm just recovering from shoulder surgery, which is, my God, it's been bloody painful. Yeah,
Is that like an RSI thing from playing or injury?
Well, funnily enough, the playing didn't help. I had an accident with walking my dogs. They got free of the lead, and I had two dogs in my right hand, one dog in my left. The ones in my right hand got free, and they were heading for the traffic on a busy road. So I had to dive to grab them. So I dived, got them, but the dog in my other hand, which goes right through me even now, and my left hand decided to go that way. Snapped two ligaments.
Hopefully you'll be good for the tour that we're going to talk about.
I am hoping. I've got a bloody gig on the 20th of September. So I started rehab. Yeah, I started rehab yesterday. So yeah, I am keeping my fingers crossed. Luckily, because I play low, it makes it a little bit easier than, if I was playing high. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Yes, I'll be fine.
So you're bringing Peter Hook and the Light back to Australia again. You're performing the New Order album Get Ready in its entirety, as well as some New Order and Joy Division tracks as well. It is metropolistouring.com or peterhookandthelight.live for tickets and information. The first question I sort of had for you, Peter, was when you play these album in full, like sort of shows, do you always try and recreate them like really faithfully, or do you give band members in the Light sort of a little bit of license to, interpret?
Certainly bloody not. What's the point of being the boss if you can't tell them what to do? I think we have a obligation to the fans to keep it as close as possible. What I want to get is that I want people to be able to listen to those LPs faithfully, but the delivery, because it's live, is much more passionate. So that's what I've tried to capture. Is we have a great guy actually in Australia, Ken Evans, who is a keyboard whiz, and he recreates all the sounds that were used in the production, and the sounds of the synthesizers, etc., the drum machines. He is very faithful. So we do get a faithful sound. I think that that's important, because these LPs that we're playing are the soundtracks to people's lives. And I want them to be able to go to that period in their life, whether it was good or bad. I think that, whether it's melancholy or whether it's joyous, I think that there are things to be said for both. So yeah, it's very important to keep the faith, if you like, and that I work hard for that, and we really do make sure that it captures the right spirit, the way that the LP does. New Order live were a lot different to how they were on record. The thing is that we don't celebrate that sloppiness, but I think that the passion and the enthusiasm that the boys in the Light have shown me is a wonderful compliment. I can't thank them enough. And it's considering most of them were in Monaco. I worked out that Potsy I've actually played with now for longer than I played with Bernard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played longer with him than I did with Twatface, which is quite interesting. So, it's amazing how time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's your favourite track from Get Ready, Peter, on the album to play live?
Do you know what? I think it's Turn My Way. I love the bass guitar and I love the layering on Turn My Way. Steve Osborne, as a producer, was very, very easy to work with. And Bernard and I's attitude, because it was mainly Barney and I that did Get Ready, it was a real honeymoon record. We were both really enjoying what each of us was doing. There was no fighting between us, which was great because all the other records we were fighting bloody tooth and nail. So there was that aspect to it. And Steve Osborne was there to actually, and he worked really well making things much easier for us to do. And some of the songs are actually put together really, really well. And I must admit that I took it for granted at the time, but to come back to it now and listen to it and realize what a fantastic job he did. I keep thinking to myself that I must get in touch with him and tell him, because when we went on to Waiting for the Siren's Call, Barney sacked him on Waiting for the Siren's Call and then reinstated him and then sacked him again. And he came to me because I was in the other room and he went, "Okay," he says, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "I'm the only producer in the world that's ever been sacked off the same session twice." But I must admit, I did have a feeling that he was glad to go because of the atmosphere on that was not great. So yeah, so I must get in touch with him. In fact, I'm going to make a bloody note on this piece of paper. Yeah, I'm going to get in touch with him just to say thank you and how underrated I think as an LP it was. Now, interestingly, Get Ready sold really well in Australia, and it actually sold really well in America, much more so than it did in England. It was a very popular LP in Australia and America, where it wasn't that. We didn't sell that many in England. It took us a long time to make a comeback in England. But opposed to, it was, this new LP was greeted better in Australia and America than it was at home.
Are there any albums in the New Order back catalogue, Peter, that you don't feel like you want to give this kind of sort of tour treatment to?
No, the two that I didn't want to give it to, funnily enough, were Republic. And when I did give it the treatment, I ended up really enjoying it. And it managed to dispel a few ghosts for me. And I felt like I got the LP back. This LP was the same. Barney and I started off so much in love at this LP. Second honeymoon, we were all over each other. It was like, get a room, you two. It was literally was like that. But as soon as we came to play live, all that bonhomie disappeared, and we went back to being exactly at odds the way we were before, which was quite sad. And that put me off the record. And then when we started playing as New Order, because Steve hadn't have been full-time into the record, I think we felt that it was better to play the stuff that he was in. So we sort of didn't play a lot of the tracks. So a lot of the tracks on Get Ready have never been played by New Order, which was quite interesting. I was quite surprised how few that we actually played. And yeah, we've, do you know what, mate? I really enjoyed it. And I can't say, because of how much I play on this record and how much I play live, I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much, because it's a very physical album for me, singing and playing. So that is nice to do. Like with Republic, even though I did love it at the end, there's not as much playing. There's not as much physicality in it for me. I'm only being selfish here. So me playing, which is great, because I certainly do think that this record has some great bass riffs on it. So I'm delighted, to be honest. I'm looking forward to the next one. Waiting for the Siren's Call. I can't bloody wait for that one. Yeah, it's got some great pictures as well. And that has a cloud over it because of how unhappy we were with each other. Sad. It's really sad. Now, that whole court case and the awful depths we sank to, slagging each other off on that. Oh my God. You just can't imagine how would have been, how it felt worth it.
Do you wish you could roll it back a bit, Peter, and go back to before and try and, sort of make it work?
Yeah, I do. I do actually. I do. I think that I was at fault when the band split up. I think I should have been a lot more open with Bernard, and I should have shared my feelings, whether it led to something or not. I think I should have. I owed him that, I think, and I think that's where I fucked up. So I'll take that one on the chin. But the appalling way that they acted, the three of them, the amount of greed and disregard for anybody shown in the way they acted by taking the trademark, I think is absolutely 100% unforgivable. And I can't believe the fans forgave them, to be honest.
Like I was in a sort of similar situation. I had the opportunity to see the Sex Pistols in Perth a few months ago, and it's no John Lydon. So for me, no, and I'd be the same if New Order came to Perth. Like you're not just a bass player, Peter. Are you? You're so integral to the sound of that band. Like,
Thank you. Do you know it's quite funny though, isn't it? Because it's like I remember being in we're doing a few gigs in Germany, and this kid was driving us round, and this kid was talking, and he said to me, he said, yes, he said, my favorite band were this German band. He said, and they got together with a different lead singer, and I loved them so much I had to go and see them. Very plain speak. And when I got there, I did not like it, and I will not be going back. He said, oh. And I said, were you a Joy Division fan? And he said, yes, I am a Joy Division fan. And I said, well, what do you think about me singing the things then? He said, in your case, I will be going back.
it's a lovely compliment. What a nice thing to say.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank God for that, because it would have been a very uncomfortable drive if we'd have said, I will not be coming back. I was like, oh, fucking hell, that was close. Phew. But yeah, I mean, I'm in a different position to you are. And over the years, because of what the Sex Pistols did for me, I've got to know Glenn Matlock very well.
Right, okay, yeah.
Every time I see him, I always go, it's your fucking fault, this is all your fault, mate. I could have had a nice life without this. And I know Steve Jones. I've done his show a few times, and I finally got to meet Paul Cook, who was a lovely man. And I know Johnny Rotten very well, right? He's a character, to say the bloody least, right? So the thing is that if I did get the opportunity to see the Sex Pistols, I would be going. It wouldn't be the same. And, for someone like me who owes everything to all four of them, I mean, we just did a festival here in England called Rebellion, which is a massive punk festival in Blackpool. 15,000 punks all over the world all congregate. And every time we play it, we've played it a few times, it always makes me think, I think, God, you know what? None of these people would be here apart from the Sex Pistols. I wouldn't, they wouldn't, all these Mohicans would not exist without the Sex Pistols. And so I said to the band, I said, you know what? We should play Anarchy. We'll play Anarchy, right? And they were all going, oh, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I was going, fuck it, we're going to play Anarchy. And he talked me out of it too many times. So anyway, we get there, and my manager, about a week before we were due to play, he said, Hooky, he said, you're playing Anarchy, I believe. And I said, yeah. He said, you know who's on after you, don't you? And I went, no, who's on? He went, Public Image. And I went, oh, fucking hell. Oh, man. So then it was a massive debate about, do we tell him? Do we ask him? Do we just blag it? And I thought, oh, fucking hell, knowing how curmudgeonly he is, if you asked him to play a Sex Pistols song, would he want to sing on it? I thought, knowing him, he'd just go, no, fuck off. And I thought, oh my God, no, I'm not missing this opportunity. So anyway, we go along to the gig, right? We get to the gig, and I'm feeling very prickly because I know I'm going to see him somewhere. And lo and behold, as I walked through the front fucking door, I went straight into him. Ah, Johnny, okay, nice to see you and all this. And I'm like that. I felt like a naughty schoolboy harboring this secret. And I thought, oh, fucking no, man, I can't tell him. So anyway, we went on. We came on, we finished Love Will Tear Us Apart, and then we went into Anarchy, and the fucking crowd went berserk. They went berserk because I'd already checked out Pill by now, and I knew that they weren't playing any Pistol songs. So Oh man, it went down a fucking storm. Even all Pill's roadies ran out and jumped down on the side of the stage and all this. Like, it was fucking great. And I said, "This is a love song." I said, because I love what this man did for me, and this song is my song of love to you, Johnny. Right? Anyway, so then I felt like a proper naughty schoolboy. So I'm walking around. My manager says to me, he said, "Hooky, are you going for a cigarette?" And I went, yeah, grab me fags. So grab me fags, walk out, walk in the corridor. Who do I walk? Slap bang into. Oh, man, it was like being a kid again in front of the schoolmaster. And I went, hiya. And he went, and I went, mate, honestly, take it in the manner to which it was intended. I love you. And he was just going, yeah, like that. And then his manager came and grabbed him. I was like, oh my fucking God. but I'm glad I got to did it, because the sentiment is that none of us would have fucking been there without him, without Glenn Matlock. In answer to your question, I would have gone and seen.
You're listening to the Mixtape.
24 Hour Party People is one of them movies I've watched like so many times. And that scene, the Manchester Free Trade Hall with the Pistols gig, where there's you, the Buzzcocks, do you know what I mean? And that sparked so much creativity.
Mark Eastman.
Oh, yeah, so good. And that movie in general was just like, it's one of my favourite movies of all time. The one scene that I love the most is when Tony and Rob are talking about the meeting with London Records. And Tony says something like, "Oh, it's what's wrong with London Records?" Rob goes, "Fucking name for a start."
Yes, London Records.
Absolutely love that. That's brilliant.
He had the same attitude to London as he did to Manchester United. Funnily enough, Rob, he hated Cockneys. He hated it he had a great time when he got there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Cockneys, and he hated everything London Record Company stood for. But it was quite ironic, wasn't it? We started with Factory and ended up with London Records. And London Records was so anarchic. It made Factory look like a bunch of schoolgirls, to be honest. Oh my God, man, they were off their heads. Honestly, we paled into insignificance. They were nuts. There was one point when we were mixing Republic, and one of the guys at London Record, who was very suitably refreshed, shall we say, him and the president of the record label, he was the head of A&R, and he said, "You know what would be great on this record? It'd be a lion roaring." And he said, "Well, we'll go to London Zoo and hire a lion." And I was pretty suitably refreshed myself, but not as fucking much as this lunatic. I thought, oh my God, the producer, Steve, his name escapes me for the moment. He just got up and walked out and went home, left the whole session, just chopping them out on the back. They were like that long.
Great segue, Peter, into my next question. I wanted to ask you, obviously you work with a lot of legendary producers with Joy Division and New Order, but I wanted to ask you specifically about Martin Hannett. What was it like working with someone like that?
Martin was not very empathic, and he never cared about people. So luckily for us, we were a very accomplished band, because what he'd just say, he'd just turn around and go, that shit, you're useless, fuck off. And, I think many older bands probably would have smacked him, but we were like, oh, we were a bit overawed by him. So he was not a great people person. Producers, a band like New Order and Joy Division are a gift to a producer, because it's great material. So really, the producer can't go wrong. We've had a few go wrong, and Barney became very adept at sacking producers, which was quite interesting, because I always used to say to him, why have we got all these fucking producers? On Waiting for the Siren's Call, we had 9 producers, and he was sacking them one a day. Oh no, it's not worth. And I said to him, I said, mate, we've produced fucking every LP up to Get Ready. I said, why can't we produce this one, And he went, well, I don't want us to argue. And I said, well, that's a very notable, thing, but it's the arguing that makes the LPs great. They wouldn't have it. So we ended up with all those 9 fucking producers. And we ended up arguing anyway. So it didn't make any bloody difference. It just cost you a fortune, you know.
Well, I've got one more question, Peter, and then we'll move along into the mixtape track choices. So, this is episode I think 120. This will be of my show.
Oh, wow.
Episode 2 was Clint Boone, and when I interviewed him, he had all his records like behind him in like a display case, and I got to asking him about his record collection, and as a DJ and sort of musician in the era and area that he sort of came up in, I was asking about like you must have some real nuggets there, like, and the one that he picked out was Warsaw, as one of his sort of like little nuggets in his record collection. So I'll ask you the same question, Peter. Like, are you a big vinyl collector? You must have picked up some great stuff over
I
the years.
used to be, but in my first DJing period, I managed to leave most of my records all around England. My record collection, very philanthropically, has been spread all around England now. I now buy them again, actually. Yeah, I buy a lot of LPs because it's really weird to go in Tesco and see a rack of LPs on vinyl for sale.
No way.
Yeah.
You buy vinyl in Tesco's?
Yes.
No way.
And they all tend to be big hitters. The last one I bought was the Doors' first LP, and I bought Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, and I bought them in Tesco.
Wow. I had no idea that Tesco was selling vinyl now.
Yeah. So every time I go in, I buy a couple. So my collection is getting bigger. But
excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I think the nugget in my collection would be Nico, Chelsea Girls.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Produced by John Cale. I mean, it's amazing how many people quote that album these days. But it is a fantastic, fantastic album. So that's my nugget.
This is the mixtape.
The mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list. Moving on, that's a nice segue into like the music you listen to and are influenced by. Moving into the mixtape tracks then, Peter. So track 1 of your mixtape, go in with a big attention grabber, mate. What's your track 1 gonna grab my attention?
Well, I think it's going to be the one I'm going to play at my funeral as I come in, which is Born to be Wild.
Oh, great one. That's a good one, that funeral song. I did that was a category that I was thinking about using, was what song you play at your funeral, but I just thought, it could be a bit negative and a bit sort of maudlin, and I'll try and keep it light. So I thought, I won't go with that. But yeah, that's a great choice, mate. Love a bit of Steppenwolf. Yeah, that's a good one. Track 2, Peter. What is a song that you sing when you're on your own in the car or the shower?
God, do you know what? I think it's going to have to be Neil Young. And it's the track he played in Hyde Park. She used to work in a diner, never saw a woman look finer. I used to order just to watch her walk across the floor. She grew up in an old place, never put her roots down.
That is Unknown Legend from Harvest Moon album. Absolutely love that track. Track 3 of your mixtape is put a cover version on your mixtape. Here, what's a good cover version?
Oh man, now you're asking. Do you mean so you want someone who's done a cover version of a track? Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there was a wonderful cover version that I actually ripped off for the Joy Division Classical, which was done by a French group, and it was a piano version of Love Will Tear Us Apart with Ian's vocal on. And it is up there, it's on YouTube, and it's just really downbeat piano, but it's got Ian's vocal on it. And that is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful version of that, which I actually ripped off, and we did it as such in the classical version. The other one, funnily enough, is Grace Jones's cover of She's Lost Control.
Oh, wow. I didn't know she'd done that.
Yes, it was the first time we ever earned money as Joy Division. we got a message from a record company who said that Grace Jones wants to do a cover version of your song. She's lost control. And we went, no, we don't want anyone doing a cover version of our songs. And they said, we'll give you 20 grand. And we went, she can do it. It's the first time we earned any money.
Oh, superb. Generally, like, what's your opinion of cover versions, Peter? Because I think, like, Love Will Tear Us Apart particularly gets covered a lot. And every time I go, oh, no, don't do it. Even, like, I saw Noel Gallagher at High Flying Birds do it on Jules Holland a couple of years ago. And it was awful, mate.
I know, but, yeah, well, if you listen to, there's a wonderful version by a band called Frente of Love Will Tear Us Apart, which is good. But some of them are good and some of them are bad. And we did get a cover. We got a Grammy, get this, for a cover version of Blue Monday by Orgy, who were a heavy metal band.
Yeah, I've had him on the show. I've interviewed him and we talked about it. Yeah.
So, I mean, the only Grammy we've ever got is for a heavy metal cover version of fucking Blue Monday. That's just bonkers. Yeah. I mean, some of them are great. Some of them are great and some of them are shit. And I suppose that's what's good about it. It's an interesting thing. I hear a lot of cover versions in films that are very nice because of the way they fit in the film. It's good and they're different to ours. I mean, the Joy Division classical that we played was basically a mad cover version of all the Joy Division songs in a classical point of view. And some of them were absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, each has their merits. It depends who's doing them. Noel has never asked me whether I've heard Love Will Tear Us Apart, I must admit. And I was with him and I thought, I hope he don't fucking mention it. It's like, oh, God. Anyway, he didn't. So there you go.
Track 4 of your mixtape, Peter, is what's a song that you wish you could play to your 18-year-old self?
You know what? I would play What Do You Want From Me by Monaco.
Yeah.
And the reason I'd play it to my 18-year-old self is just because I could go, it's going to be all right.
That's absolutely the category where a lot of people pick their own stuff for that exact reason.
Yeah.
For that.
It's not that it's not Joy Division or not New Order, just the fact that, it was basically me, even Potsy helping me, but it was basically me. And it's just would have been nice to know, because 18, I hadn't been to see the Sex Pistols. I had no idea what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And somebody coming along and going, it's going to be all right. Would have actually been quite nice.
Track 5 of your mixtape, Peter, is if you were making up your mixtape for like a romantic interest, trying to let someone know you're interested, what would be a sort of track you would use for that?
I thought about this when I saw it. It'd be Jonathan Richman, and it would be, hurts me to hear that you think so little of your own self. It bothers me now, so watch me. It's called The Morning of Our Lives.
Most notably, he gets picked in the next category, which is track 6. Pick a deep cut or an album track or a B-side that you feel is a bit underappreciated, mate.
Wow. God, I mean, Nico, Chelsea Girls would fit into this category absolutely perfectly for many, many tracks. God, that is a tough one, because I always find that B-sides, on some great early Cream records had great B-sides. Fleetwood Mac, in particular, he used to have great B-sides as well. So that is a tricky one, that one. I tell you what I'll go for. What's the B-side of Virginia Plain? It's a instrumental, and it's a really, really fantastic track. So it's one of the first B-sides that actually stuck out to me. So it's the B-side of Virginia Plain.
Right, okay. I'll dig that one out, mate, for sure, yeah. No.
A lot of saxophone on it. It's a great track. It's very Ennio Morricone.
Right, okay. Awesome. Sounds amazing. That's why I love that. I love that category, because I've got 6 Spotify playlists, one for each track choice. And every time someone picks a track, I put it on the playlist. And the track 6 playlist is all these like out there deep cuts, B-sides and stuff like that. It's an amazing place. I love getting to that one. It is metropolistouring.com or peterhookandthelight.live for tickets and information for the Get Ready Australian tour. Just quickly, Peter, what have you got? Have you got any plans late after sort of back end of this tour? What have you got coming up after that?
We will just be playing our merry little heads off. Yeah, just the same as ever. I mean, it's It's been fantastic. I can't believe that 15 years playing this material could give me so much enjoyment to the previous 15 years, which was fucking hell. So yeah, it's great. We have a great time together. We're really enjoying what we're doing. I'm just looking to take Joy Division and New Order further afield. If we could go further afield than Mongolia, maybe there is somewhere out there that's further afield than that. To play Joy Division in Mongolia was a rare treat. China, Russia, you can't get to those places now, which is really sad. So no, I'm just gonna, it's when someone says to you, play at the opening of an envelope, and yeah, I would. Somebody wants to celebrate the opening of an envelope, I'm up for it. Over the moon. Yeah, I'd play anywhere, anytime.
That is a brilliant ending to the interview, Peter. Thanks so much, mate. That's awesome.
You're welcome, mate.
Safe travels down under, Peter. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, mate.
And you keep that accent up. I love it. Keep it flying the flag, mate.
Yeah, I will, mate. Yeah. Take care, mate. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to the top of the page and rate it 5 stars, or give us a like or follow on social media at the Mixtape Podcast and Radio Show. Don't forget, there's over 100 archive episodes just waiting to be discovered. And all you need to do is visit themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.